We're going to have a really, really, really big event Thursday. This is Wednesday morning. Technically, theoretically, it's Wednesday morning when this show is showing. And on Thursday, and again, all things being equal, because sometimes the creek does rise, we will be looking at Starship with its 13th flight, carrying real cargo to eject into space for the purpose of communicating with Earth. All these things are potentially going to happen on Thursday, and it is a very, very big deal. What do you think, Brian White?
I think it's an elaborate hoax designed to throw some trash away that he couldn't find a place for because the garbage man didn't come by. And they got to just, put it in space. Who will notice?
Who will notice?
I mean, he's done it with tires before, four
Has
of them.
yeah, four of them, yeah, along with a hunk of metal, right?
Well, I mean, if you don't have tires, you don't have a car. I mean,
If
come
it
on.
ever lands, think who might get that special gift.
Maritime law, you can go salvage it. And you'd probably need to hire SpaceX to do that, wouldn't you?
Right.
Yeah, might be complicated.
All right, so the ship's going to take off. We obviously you never know until it takes off whether it's going to land appropriately and do all the things it's supposed to do. Even those 14 satellites are at risk. There's six more that will be 14 that are going to be the commercial V3s, and then there's six more that will be like last time. They'll be sitting outside the ship, taking pictures as the ship continues its trip and as it goes into the sea, trying to get some great views of what's happening to the heat shield, etc. Anyway, but
On that, I would say real quick, if you guys haven't checked out, SpaceX did publish a little mini documentary on Flight 12, and it's fantastic. You get to see their reaction to the camera being ejected. You get to see their reaction to the splashdown and all of that. And you really get to share in the excitement.
yeah. So what are you thinking that this will do for the company? What does it do for the stock? What does it do for the future of mankind?
Those are all no, those I know you joke a little, but you're not joking all the way. So let's start with what will it do for the stock, the launch? If the launch goes to plan, maybe a few people will get excited. If it went up 1, 2, or even 5, 10% on hype, because it would just be hype. The launch, services are only a small part of what SpaceX AI does and a small part of the valuation. But if it goes catastrophically, if for some reason it blew up on the pad or
Right.
just completely missed all of its objectives, I don't think there's a good chance of that, in part because they're loading it with millions of dollars of satellites that they don't exactly have a lot of yet. So I think that they have very high confidence, and that confidence is not hubris. It's built on the previous 12 launches,
Right.
plus the hundreds of SpaceX launches,
Sure,
those
sure.
Falcon launches. So in terms of the launch, what will it do for SpaceX stock? Maybe a small positive bump, maybe nothing. I don't think this qualifies as a buy the rumor, sell the news scale event. So I don't think it will have that it'll go poorly on great news. But what does it mean for humanity? Is the other question. SpaceX has already done so much for space based research and communication. But just in terms of space based research, you remember when companies and agencies outside of, large government ones, when outside of defense and NASA started buying satellites, it was a big deal. A private company wants to put up well, there's like two games in town, maybe one game in town for that. What's it going to cost? All the money in the world. And as more companies came online that could do launch services, the cost came down dramatically. But we've never seen a cost reduction like we have with SpaceX. For less than the price of a house in most cities, you can deploy your own satellite. Now, it's not going up alone. It's probably going up with 30, 40, 50 other satellites. But you can not just do research, you can do business. You can do research and business and education and communication. You can do all these things. And you can do it for a price that's never been seen before and will never be seen again. Oh, wait, Starship will reduce the cost even more. Because, and I thought, well, that's how could it be even cheaper? The rocket's bigger, it uses more fuel. Right. But it doesn't use more fuel. It uses more fuel because it's bigger, because it can carry more satellites, more payload, bigger payload. But the second stage is no longer expendable. The second stage costs real money and is very difficult to build. It really puts a limit on how many times you can launch um, without having a massive factory dedicated to just dumping expensive, valuable equipment into the ocean. So now we're going to have the cost of each flight be essentially the fuel and some quick maintenance, maybe a tile, maybe no tiles, maybe a new nozzle or knob. I don't know what the different things are, but they do. Everything's redundant. Maybe one of the ejection motors isn't working right. Great. Swap it out. We still had a successful mission, and the next one will also be successful. So, what it's doing for what Starship, what a successful launch will do for humanity is turn Starlink from a rural satellite provider into a full-fledged, absolutely thorough, low-cost global coverage satellite system that can do phones, that can do cities. And it's still not, if you have fiber, that's still your better bet. It is faster. Fiber will be faster. It probably will be cheaper. And if it's not, it's about to go down in price because they know they have competition. Everyone has competition. And maybe you just have Starlink for backup so that you never go without connection. For some people, that's absolutely critical. And, we remember the early days of the internet when your connection was the most frustrating part of the experience. For some of us, that was only a couple years ago.
Feels like
Those
that, huh?
It feels like, well, no, it depends where you live. For some people, it absolutely
Oh, I see. I gotcha.
didn't end until Starlink came along.
Okay.
And Starlink in its early days still had intermittency issues because you got to cover the whole planet, and now they have. So this is a big deal for humanity, and those lowering costs mean more countries can get in, can get connected, can become part of the global community. And to the handful of people saying, yeah, but I was going to become an amateur astronomer, you still can. There's free software that will delete moving objects from your photos. Don't let what could become your hobby stand in the way of people around the world enjoying the access to the global community in ways that you and I take for granted.
Yeah, and if you go back to first principles, the number one thing that generates human flourishing is knowledge. Whether that's knowledge of how to build the wheel that was invented, multiple millennia ago, or whether it's knowledge about how to set up a small business in your neighborhood or whatever. Knowledge is the key to human
Mm-hmm.
flourishing. And even when you and I were younger, the knowledge was located at the library.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, that knowledge became available on the internet or on your phone a few years later, but that knowledge was still limited in the way that you could research it. There's a famously, that was part of my business for the last 20 years, was getting people to be found on the internet. And famously, if you didn't have the right keywords, you could have the best information in the world and nobody was going to see what you'd put up there. But now we have information. I do it all day long now. It's like, well, what is the cost of tea in China? And Grok goes, here you go. Here's the cost of tea in China. Yesterday, today, here's what we think it'll be tomorrow. And that information is life-giving. It is commerce driving and it causes human flourishing. So people have compared what's happening Thursday to the steam engine or to the laying of track. Bank of America specifically said this is comparable to the beginning of the era of the trains in the United States. Anyway,
Wow.
thoughts?
Well, it's all correct. If you go watch a sci-fi movie from the 70s, 80s, definitely the 50s and 60s, and look at the egregious errors in scale, in science, in even just basic information, because the script could only be as good as the writer and his buddies who saw it and the director who only knows how to use a camera. Now you don't make mistakes like saying, "Oh, that moon is more than 1,000 miles away." Not that that was one that they used, but it could have been, because they didn't know anybody who could tell them how far away the moon is. I know there was a big mistake in. I don't remember if it was Prometheus, but they said we're a 500,000,000 miles from Earth, and it's like that's not even going to get you to Jupiter. So maybe they meant, I don't know, light miles. That's not a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, like,
But but if you have never been connected to the internet and you live in some remote place, do you know how to safely fix a wire in your house?
yeah,
Do you know how to look up something to find out if it's dangerous? Uh, my cat, my dog, my sheep, whatever, has this bump on
yes,
on
right.
its neck.
I
What is
have
it?
bump on my neck.
Right, I have a. What does it mean? Well, I mean,
Yeah,
let's find out in 3 seconds.
right.
Uh, so this has the power to change the world. And the cheaper it gets, the bigger it gets, the more it changes. So let's, well, they shouldn't have social. No, don't do that. I'm not going to gatekeep how other people use the internet. That would say more about me than it would about them.
Yeah. All right. So my admonition out there is that it should cause the SpaceX stock to go through the moon, because almost all the analysts are saying this is the apex. Maybe the apex is the wrong word. This is the crux. This is what changes SpaceX from ground-based AI uh, database system. This is what changes the satellite system for communication into something multiple times what it is now. This is the thing that allows us to potentially manufacture in space, mine asteroids, go to the moon, and set up a colony. I mean, we're talking about a change historically that only happens once in a while.
If you look at the mid 90s, even late 90s, before Google really took off, my biggest complaint about the internet was that it was so big that you couldn't find anything. It's like you said earlier, if you build it, that don't mean nothing on the internet back in those days for sure, because even keywords weren't going to save you. You practically had to rely on word of mouth to get
Right.
the word out about an internet website. And if you look at, and I said to my friend, I'm glad it's limited to the world. He goes, yes, the World Wide Web, Brian, is limited to the world. Because if it included other planets, oh, good luck finding anything. But Elon's ruining that for everyone now that it's going to go beyond the world. How dare he?
How
Uh,
dare.
so, so that's something to consider. We're going to have Starlink around the moon. We're going to have it around Mars, because whatever research is done, whatever mining is done, whatever anything is done, it really needs those satellites. It really does. They can function as GPS and communication, and they could be the compute. Now, I did want to address, because people love to say the space-based constellation compute will never happen. It's too expensive. Don't worry about it. That's not up to you and me. That's up to the accountants. The accountants will count the beans as they do. And when it makes sense, they will do it, and not a second sooner. I mean, they might put up one or two to make sure that the hardware is sufficiently hardened. But beyond that, it's not like it's something where they're going to press a button and go bankrupt.
Mhm.
It doesn't, it scales. They could get weeks or months into it and find that now it no longer makes sense and just stop. That's fine too. So, yeah, there are a lot of, and especially the people who despise Elon, they despise Tesla and SpaceX. I say, you of all people should be rooting for this if you believe it's a fool's errand. But the fact that you're still here and having this conversation is weird.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you've been on X. I see.
Yes. Yes. As unlike some people, Randy, I actually read the comments on your channel.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Not that,
I
not
don't,
that I,
I read
yeah,
them occasionally, occasionally.
I wouldn't say that your viewers complain as much as my viewers. My viewers are much more engaged. They leave a lot of comments, and that necessitates that there will be at the very bottom a handful of people uh, who just can't get enough. Man, they love to hate. It
Yeah.
fills their small black hearts with joy.
All right, Brian, as always, we never, now it has to be entertaining. We don't know whether you got anything out of it, any information that you found useful, but we
Mm.
certainly hope so. And let Brian know in the comments below if there was anything useful today in what we'd said. All right, Brian, thank you as always for coming on. And to all of you out there, it has been great talking to you.